Howdy, my name is Kenneth Jones, and today I will be giving a presentation on the second most common biofuel, biodiesel. What is biofuel and biodiesel? Biofuel is a fuel derived directly from living matter. Biodiesel is a domestically produced renewable fuel that can be manufactured from vegetable oils, animal fats, or recycled restaurant grease for use in diesel vehicles or any equipment that operates on diesel fuel. Fun fact, biodiesel's physical properties are like those of petroleum diesel, which makes them interchangeable. Origins of biodiesel. In 1890, Rudolf Diesel, also known for inventing the diesel engine, was experimenting with vegetable oils when he realized his engines were compatible with the organic supplement. Biodiesel is named after him because of his discovery and his usage by diesel engines. Today, biodiesel and petroleum diesel can both be used interchangeably to fuel diesel engines. How is biodiesel produced? Biodiesel is produced by a process known as transesterification. Transesterification is the conversion of carboxylic acid ester into a different carboxylic acid ester. In the context of biodiesel, this means that the fats and oils within the reactants chemically react with another ester, example alcohol, to form biodiesel. Vegetable oils, especially soybean oil, are the main source for biodiesel production within the United States. Biodiesel's environmental impact and developmental status. First, let's start off with carbon footprint. Biodiesel, like many other biofuels, reduces greenhouse gas emissions. The carbon dioxide released from machinery using biodiesel cancels out because, in return, growing the feedstock to produce the fuel replenishes the environment. Developmental status. First generation biodiesel from vegetable oils are successfully and widely used in the economy. Second generation biodiesel, which originates from various types of non-food biomass, has been proven to be effective on the industrial level. Third generation biodiesel is produced from microalgae, which has been proven as the most viable option given it is climate friendly and is powered by a non-food source. Although 3G, third generation, biodiesel has been proven as the most efficient, third generation biodiesel is still in early developmental stages. All of these generations of biodiesel are presented with benefits and drawbacks. Obviously, as we continue to advance within society and technology, the further the generation, the more benefits and the less drawbacks. And the third generation, the benefits do outweigh the drawbacks by a good amount. So here I drew a picture, and basically it's just a mini cycle of what goes on in this biodiesel chain. And so first you start off with actually a third generation supplement, such as like a tree or some sort of non-living biomass or non-food source biomass, which it wouldn't affect the food chain and it wouldn't affect the food source. So we start off with a tree, something wood, we can't eat wood. And you take it to a factory where it's converted, where that transesterification happens, it's converted to the biodiesel. Then once you take it from the factory, you go to the car, it's used for normal fuel. It can be used in the car, it can be used in anything that requires diesel to run. But then those diesel transportation or diesel vehicles, they will obviously emit CO2 to the atmosphere, and that CO2 to the atmosphere is bad. That CO2 emission is bad, but it is reduced by, once again, as you can see the arrow going back down to the tree, it's reduced by the tree because the tree will cycle that CO2 and produce oxygen. So it kind of cancels itself out, unlike fossil fuels, which we get from the ground, and the fossil fuels don't cancel out their emissions because it's not like a tree where it obviously works through photosynthesis and such. Economic impact of biodiesel. Biofuels have created many jobs, starting off with 29,000 in 2012 and have reached a staggering 119,000 by 2022. The direct economic output from advanced biofuels production would rise to 113 billion by 2030. The total economic output effect would be $300 billion. One downside of biofuel on the economic scale is that it currently cannot replace large amounts of petroleum without it directly affecting the food supply. Even if all corn and soybean produced in the US were dedicated to biodiesel production, only 6% of diesel demand would be met. That is one liability drawback, like I said, to all the generations, but obviously it would be much better for the environment. Although, as of right now, fossil fuels are the more reliable source. How does the US encourage the use of biodiesel? The US federal government and state governments have promoted the usage of biodiesel and biofuels by implementing various laws and incentives. The Federal Renewable Fuel Standard Program has required that transportation fuels sold in the US contain a certain volume of renewable fuels. California's low carbon fuel standard promotes biofuels by providing a vast amount of renewable and low carbon fuels. My personal analysis. After researching about biodiesel and thoroughly looking into its components, I have concluded that biodiesel is the future of fuel. From CO2 reduction and the minimal carbon footprint to renewable energy, the benefits clearly outweigh those of modern fuel. I personally believe fossil fuels are superior because of its longevity and reproducibility. As of right now, though, the alternative energy may not be as reliable as fossil fuels, but once it's mastered and capable of mass production without any drawbacks, it will easily replace petroleum diesel. My plan of action. Find an alternative energy source to produce biodiesel, one that does not emit CO2, because that's the whole purpose of replacing renewable energy. Expand the materials used to produce biodiesel. Example, non-consumable biomass, like trees, stuff that we cannot eat. Find additional ways to promote the usage and distribution of biodiesel. Advertisements, financial incentives, laws, even like teaching in a school and whatnot. Just find ways to put it out there. Limit the drawbacks to biodiesel by increasing production efficiency. Here's my citations. All of these websites, really good. And that's all, folks. That's all I had to say. Thank you for listening in and giggle.